Thank you for joining me today for a workshop for claims trainers. We'll begin by refreshing on basic insurance understanding and claims handling fundamentals, topics, information, and content, of course, that you may feel welcome to utilize in your future training endeavors. And then we'll talk a bit about best practice methods for trainers, and then end our discussion with any questions, comments, or recommendations that you may have, and just give you the opportunity to seek guidance or discuss the matter at greater length.
What is insurance and why have it? Life's full of surprises. Your friend suddenly has a spare ticket to see your favorite band. That couple whom you think will never get engaged actually do. And John finally buys a round of drinks. But what if life's little surprises aren't so great? Like breaking your favorite phone, or something far more serious. The purpose of insurance is to protect people from uncertainty of the future, when things don't go to plan, or when we need support for our life projects. And finally, to give us peace of mind for whatever's around the corner. Here's an example. Paul and Dave are neighbors. Paul decided to buy insurance to cover his home and its contents, but Dave bought the latest games console instead. A few months later, a freak rainstorm hit, and both Paul's and Dave's houses were flooded. Everything downstairs was ruined, including Dave's games console. While Dave worried about how he was going to repair his house and replace his possessions, Paul simply called his insurance company and submitted a claim. They assessed the damage, calculated the value of the claim, and arranged payment to Paul. He could then afford to redecorate his house and replace his ruined possessions. Here's another example. Tom's goal was to one day own his dream car, but his salary meant this dream would never be a reality. Tom didn't want to take risks on the stock market, so instead he purchased a life insurance policy with survival benefits. The policy was set up over a specific number of years and was guaranteed to pay out an agreed amount at the end of the policy term, as long as he was still alive. Tom simply paid the same premium each month, and at the end of the policy term, it paid out. Tom was soon driving around in his dream car. We hope you enjoyed this video. To find out more about how to buy the right insurance for you, visit Generali.com today.
The insurance industry's role is vital to the prosperity of any nation as it underwrites the risks of individuals and businesses, allowing them some peace of mind as they contribute to the nation's economy. Insurance companies and the types of insurance policies they provide are specifically important as they allow for efficient and effective allocation of resources among individuals and businesses by managing those risks. Some common types of insurance available to help protect individuals and businesses from the economic devastation unexpected incidents can create include health insurance, life insurance, auto insurance, homeowners insurance, and general liability insurance. To learn more, we turn now to some experts in the field to provide further explanation about each of these types of insurance and how they might affect individuals and businesses in various situations. Let's sit back, relax, and soak up their valuable contribution to our discourse.
Meet Rob, a patient at Northwell Health. Rob struggles to understand his health insurance, and it really frustrates him. He's never confident that he's picked the right plan and never knows how much his treatment will cost. In fact, no one ever told him what his options were. Oh no, thinks Rob. But that was before. Now someone finally took the time to explain it all to Rob, and he wants to share the information with you. So let's start with the basics. What is health insurance? Health insurance is an arrangement with an insurance company that can help you afford the costs of health care. Health insurance works by spreading the cost of care among large groups of people, so insurance paid by one person helps pay for the care of the next. In addition to spreading financial risk, health insurance has another important function. It improves access to care, meaning more people can seek, find, and pay for healthcare services. There are a few ways to get health insurance. First, there is group health insurance, otherwise known as employer-based coverage. This type of insurance offers discounted coverage for a large pool of mostly healthy people, and the costs of premiums are split by the employer and employee. Another type of insurance is individual health insurance, which covers a single person or family. It's paid for entirely by the purchaser. In this case, premiums can vary based on the age of the purchaser, and they typically offer fewer benefits than group insurance. Both group health insurance and individual health insurance are commonly referred to as commercial insurance plans, but there are government-sponsored health insurance plans as well, like Medicare or Medicaid. These plans are obtained through a government agency or program and usually cater to those who have special circumstances like children, the elderly, veterans, or active service members, and those with low incomes. In these plans, costs are split between the government and the insured. Now that you know how to obtain insurance, let's talk about what plans exist.
This is David. And David needs life insurance. Relax, David. Most people do. You can see a long way from up here, but nobody can see the future. Life insurance helps to provide financial protection for your loved ones should something happen to you. It can never replace you, of course, but it can help pay for your mortgage, electric bills, child's university fees, even a new car. The list is endless. Imagine the grand is the end of David's life. Don't panic, David. It's just a useful metaphor. Simply decide how much cover you need and for how long, then just pay monthly. Depending on your lifestyle and age, there's a plan for most people. Some plans will cover a range of critical illnesses, maybe even the heart attack I'd have jumping out of a plane. Luckily, my lack of adventure makes my plan cheaper. Just choose the right plan for you and get busy enjoying life. Safe in the knowledge your loved ones have some financial protection. Zurich Life Insurance. Ready for life's surprises.
When you purchased your car, it wasn't on a whim, so why wouldn't you do the same with your insurance? Let's go over some different types of coverage that you may include in your policy. Starting with the two that fall under auto liability, which is required by law in most states. The first one is bodily injury liability coverage. You'll need this in case you injure someone in an accident you caused, because it'll help pay for your legal fees if you're sued, as well as the injured person's medical bills and lost wages. The other one is property damage liability coverage. This comes in handy if you damage another person's property with your car. It could help reimburse the other party for repairs or replacement. Next is a coverage that helps pay your medical expenses if you're hurt in an accident. Depending on the state where you live, you may have the option of purchasing either personal injury protection or medical payments coverage. These may help pay your doctor or hospital bills after a covered accident. Another type is uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage, which in some states, one or both are required. Uninsured motorist coverage helps pay for your medical bills after you've been hit by a driver who doesn't have car insurance. And based on where you live, it helps cover your car repairs. Meanwhile, underinsured motorist coverage helps pay for your medical expenses after you're hit by a driver whose liability coverage limits aren't sufficient. Then there are coverages that help if your car is damaged, like collision coverage. This helps pay to replace or repair it after a collision with another car or object. And comprehensive coverage helps pay to repair or replace your car if it's damaged by things like theft, vandalism, animals, falling objects, or fire. Finally, it's important to remember that each type of car insurance coverage has a limit, which is the maximum amount your insurer will pay for a covered claim. Also, some coverages have a deductible. Basically, it's the amount of money you'll pay out of pocket toward a covered claim. Accidents can be expensive. You'll want coverage to protect you if one happens. That's what auto insurance will do for you. Owning a home is a big investment, and you're probably wondering, how can I protect it? Well, homeowners insurance helps protect you, your home, and your belongings from all sorts of unexpected events. And with a standard policy, you'll get 4 key types of coverage: dwelling, other structures, personal property, and liability. So how does each one help you? Let's start with dwelling coverage. This can help pay to repair your home and attached structures if it's damaged by a covered event, like hail or a windstorm. For other structures coverage, you can protect detached structures on your property, like a detached garage, fence, gazebo, or a shed that's damaged by a fire. And personal property coverage can help protect what's inside your home, like electronics, furniture, and clothing if they're stolen or damaged from a fire, smoke, or vandalism. Last up, liability coverage. This one helps protect you financially. For instance, if a guest is injured at your home or you accidentally damage another person's property, it can help pay the related expenses if you're held legally liable. But keep in mind, you may have to pay the deductible amount that you've chosen before your coverage kicks in. One thing to note, if you've selected a higher deductible, it'll help lower your premium. And if you've selected a lower deductible, it'll help lower your out-of-pocket cost in case of a claim. And remember, each coverage type has a limit, which is the maximum amount your insurance will pay towards a claim. When it comes to protecting your home, it's important to understand what your policy covers. Damages can be expensive. You'll want coverage to protect you if any happen. That's what homeowners insurance will do for you.
This is Ryan. Ryan owns his construction company. This morning he received a phone call no contractor wants to receive. A pipe he installed yesterday burst, and now there is thousands of dollars in damage to the house. Oh no, he thinks. What am I going to do? Fortunately for Ryan, he purchased a general liability policy earlier this year, so he won't have to come out of pocket to cover the repairs. General liability is one of the most important insurance policies for a business, as it protects against financial loss resulting from property damage, just as it did for Ryan. It also covers injury to individuals, such as a customer entering your business or as a homeowner checking on your work, and any unintentional advertising injury your company may cause, such as copyright infringement. It's your go-to policy in the event of an accident. And let's face it, accidents happen. At Citizens General Insurance, our team of agents have the experience and know-how to make sure your company is properly covered should you get a phone call like Ryan. Make sure you have the coverage in place to protect your company against accidents that may arise. Give us a call today.
To conclude our basic insurance understanding topic of this discussion, let's ponder a claims trainer pro tip relevant to the instructional design of this workshop thus far. Given that learners have isolated conduits for processing verbal and visual concepts, when claims trainers combine multimedia stimuli such as video, photos, animations, illustrations, and/or diagrams with standalone text stimuli, both learning channels are triggered and understanding and application of new concepts is heightened, a product of dual coding theory. By choosing and crafting these learning opportunities purposefully, claims trainers allow learners to visualize multifaceted concepts with which they may otherwise struggle.
Insurance exists for people to fall back on in the worst moments of their lives. That's when they file a claim, and the claim is a moment of truth for both the insured and the insurer. How an insurer handles that claim, how well they live up to the promise they made in their policy, is of crucial importance. But before we go deeper, let's define a claim. A claim is a request from a customer for some compensation for a damage or loss that they or their property experienced. It's also an obligation for an insurance company to deliver their services and stand by the customer, per the policy that they agreed to. Whether it's a claim for damage to your home, a healthcare claim from a doctor's visit, a life insurance claim from someone passing away, or some other type of claim, the overall experience is the same. An incident happens, the insurer is notified, the insurer investigates to determine what remedies are required per the policy, and then the insurer makes the customer, called the claimant, whole again. Claims sit at the core of the insurance business model. They are critical for a few reasons. One, they are the largest single cost driver for any insurer. Typically, 60 to 70 cents of every dollar brought in goes out the door to cover the cost of claims, either paying for the loss directly or covering the cost of handling the claims. But second, and even more important, claims are where insurance companies' reputations are made or broken. If they're known for taking a long time on claims or being difficult or argumentative, their distribution partners won't feel comfortable recommending their coverage, and customers won't select them. And the opposite is true. If you do it right, you gain the reputation for being able to be trusted and depended on in the worst moments of people's lives, and your business will grow.
A claims adjuster is simply a professional who handles claims. They review insurance claims by investigating the loss, assessing the damage, be that property or bodily injury related, and then determine how much the insurer will pay the insured, or in some cases, whether a denial of claim may be appropriate or no payment will be made. Regardless of the situation, a planned and efficient approach to claims management is essential for insurance companies or insurers working to meet their obligations to their customers or insureds. This becomes the perfect opportunity for insurers to deliver on the promises they made in the insurance contract and make a good impression on their insureds, thereby enhancing their reliability factor and building a solid reputation in the insurance industry. Checking back in with the industry educator that we heard from earlier, we'll learn more about the claims process, or the process by which claims adjusters typically manage the claims they are tasked with.
Let's step through the process of a claim from beginning to end. To simplify things, let's focus on the example of a car accident. But the claims process is fairly universal across all types of insurance. First, when a car accident happens, you notify your insurance company, often by calling them directly, using their mobile app, or contacting your insurance agent. Either way, the insurer gets notice. This is called intake, or also first notice of loss, or FNOL. They'll ask for some information, who you are, what happened, maybe a photo or video. This is just the beginning of data collection, however. Notice that we didn't say claim yet. Until there's a demand made for some sort of compensation, there's no claim. For example, in the car accident, after notifying your insurer, you may decide that the damages are small enough that you'll cover them yourself. If there's no demands or requests, the notification will stay as a recorded incident and not materialize into a claim. After intake, the process moves to adjusting, which includes investigating the claim, for example, understanding and gathering evidence, determining what's covered by the plan, and then delivering the appropriate remedies, often cash and/or other services, to make the person whole again. However, the actual work and expertise involved over these three steps will vary based on the kind of loss and type of claim involved. For physical damage claims, like with our car accident, this can mean working with an appraiser to evaluate the extent of the damage, working with a body shop to repair the car, providing you a rental car in the interim, and ultimately getting you back on the road in your car in pre-accident condition. Or in some cases, it may mean paying you out the pre-crash value of the car. For a medical claim, it could be paying for medical bills that are accrued, or maybe even working with a nurse case manager to oversee the delivery of care. This type of medical claim isn't just for health insurance. It applies to P&C insurance as well. If you were hurt in a car accident, medical bills may be eligible for medical claim. Lastly, there are liability claims. These are about being held responsible for harming someone else, and usually involve a lawsuit or threat of one. For example, the car accident may have involved another driver that is suing you for damages or pain and suffering after you hit them with your car. This could require working with mediators to try to negotiate a settlement outside of court, or potentially even defense attorneys to represent you in court. For life insurance, adjusting involves getting proof that the insured person died, like seeing their death certificate, verifying that the cause of their death is covered, and ensuring the right beneficiaries are paid according to the terms of the policy. Adjusting also includes looking at the policy to determine what's covered and what isn't. For example, if your house floods and you don't have a flood policy, chances are your homeowner's policy won't cover it, and your claim will be denied. In our car accident, the damages may be covered under the typical auto policy, but there will likely be some deductible amount that the policy owner will be responsible for. Repairs might be $10,000, and the insured might have a $1,000 deductible. So the insurer pays the $9,000 difference left after the insured pays their $1,000 deductible. So overall, adjusting is about how to get this person whole within the bounds of the policy. The last step of the process is settlement, and this is effectively the final handshake at the end of the claim. You both agree that the matter is resolved. That's settlement.
In the simplest terms, the claims process primarily consists of the following 5 phases, although subphases and suitable actions are inherent to each. The first notice of loss phase, the highly important investigation phase, the assessment phase, the evaluation phase, and the settlement or denial phase. The first phase of the claims process is notice of loss. The insured has a contractual duty outlined within the insurance contract to report incidents in a timely, accurate, and honest manner and provide pertinent information, allowing the insurer to properly investigate the claim. A notice of loss may also be received by another involved party, however. The second phase of the claims process is investigation. This phase is crucial as it involves gathering evidence such as photos, videos, accident reports, receipts, property damage estimates, and/or medical billing and records, as well as interviewing those involved, the insured, the claimant, any witnesses, etc., to gather pertinent information. By documenting all relevant information and making observations on the evidence collected, the claims adjuster memorializes these for future use. Interviewing involved parties while gathering and documenting information and evidence is an essential step in the investigation process. Skilled interviewing practices improve accuracy and reduce disputes. Open-ended questions, active listening, and empathetic communications build trust and improve the participation of those involved. Utilizing uniform interview guides ensures consistency across the board and improves the quality of the information gathered. Recording and transcribing interviews digitally supports audit and quality assurance efforts, as well as litigation requirements should a lawsuit eventually be filed. Additionally, effective communication with these involved parties is critical. Clear and empathetic communication improves the cooperation and satisfaction of the involved parties exponentially. Active listening combined with timely updates and transparent explanations helps to reduce conflicts. And while communicating effectively, claims adjusters build rapport with those involved and foster better resolution outcomes for everyone. While working through each phase of the claims process, claims adjusters need to also be mindful of practicing good documentation skills. Keeping these factors in mind will allow for the best results in this regard. Timeliness, accuracy, completeness, organization, communication logs, and photos and evidence notation should be of great concern here. The assessment phase of the claims process involves determining to whom and to what extent coverage from the insurance contract applies, what the value of the claim is, the financial obligation this triggers, and what information is needed to make the proper claims determination and execute settlement or denial in the matter. Within this phase, the claims adjuster must review the insurance policy and applicable laws and how these apply to the situation, as well as compare the facts obtained during the investigation phase to ascertain their correctness or whether additional information is needed either to do so or to debate them. Assessing coverage requires that the claims adjuster analyze policy language and local case law to determine whether a claim meets the terms of the policy. Once coverage is assessed, the liability assessment then comes into play, wherein claims adjusters must review and consider the evidence and facts their investigation revealed, and then apply all of this to accurately assign responsibility to those involved. The evaluation phase of the claims process involves the claims adjuster's efforts to place a value or dollar amount on the claim, which can include review of documentation such as damage estimates, medical billing and records, or out of pocket expense receipts to establish the full value of the claim. The claims adjuster must then weigh this information against the insurance policy conditions, applicable laws and regulations, and/or the liability determination made in the matter so that an actual claim value may be ascertained. Claim closure is only achieved when either a settlement is reached voluntarily or where there is a dispute about the facts and/or claim value, which may lead to litigation up to and including a civil trial to resolve. Settlement or denial is the final phase of the claim process, wherein the claims adjuster first determines if the claim should become payable and properly denies the claim if not. If the claim does become payable, the claims adjuster must decide what dollar amount should be paid and then work to negotiate settlement with the applicable party and secure settlement documentation, such as a settlement release, in order to resolve the matter. Understanding negotiation, the challenges inherent to it, and appropriate skills and techniques to work through this process are vital to the success or lack thereof within the settlement or denial phase of the claims process. Negotiation is a key step in the settlement or denial phase of the claims process. Some good negotiation strategies can include active listening, understanding the motivations of the insured or insurer, and using objective information and figures to justify settlement offers. Claims adjusters must effectively find the balance between the insurer's goals and the claimant's satisfaction in their efforts to achieve timely settlements. Where strong negotiation skills abide, litigation potential likely decreases while an insurer's professional reputation is upheld. Documentation remains necessary through the settlement or denial phase of the claims process. Documents relevant to the settlement or denial phase can include release forms, payment records, claim notes, and/or evaluation or settlement reports. Preparing and memorializing settlement documentation prevents potential disagreements and confirms compliance with legal requirements. Additionally, it is important to understand that operating within standard procedures promotes consistency and provides legal protection for both claims adjusters and insurers. By consistently following these best practice guidelines throughout the claims process, claims adjusters can potentially avoid creating possible litigation or regulation compliance issues for the insurer and/or themselves. Claims adjusters encounter complex legal requirements from both state insurance codes and federal regulations. Understanding laws in differing jurisdictions or locations is crucial for appropriate and effective claims management. As laws and regulations are always changing, claims adjusters must also remain updated in order to maintain compliance. Staying compliant helps avoid penalties and lawsuits for insurance companies, and although the courts are currently divided on the topic, claims adjusters could even face personal liability, mostly where malicious intent is involved, should an allegation of claim mishandling be presented. Ethical standards should also be of the greatest concern for claims adjusters. Maintaining honesty, fairness, and confidentiality allows claims adjusters to build trust with the parties they interact with while upholding their ethical responsibilities. Adhering to ethical guidelines minimizes fraud, bias, and regulation risks for claims adjusters and insurers. Ethics training ensures a culture of responsibility among all claims professionals. Staying abreast of industry standards is also important for claims adjusters. Advancements in technology are reinventing claims handling while increasing its proficiency and precision. Claims adjusters must balance the demands of their job while embracing these changes. Additionally, keeping up with the evolving regulatory changes ensures compliance and reduces legal risks for insurance professionals. Continuing education and certification efforts can afford claims professionals additional protection. Claims adjusters must engage in continuous education to advance their knowledge and skill and improve the efficiency with which they handle claims. Additionally, as many states mandate continuing education to ensure adjusters maintain licensure, this pursuit allows claims adjusters to meet or exceed proper claim handling requirements. Finally, obtaining certifications such as the Associate in Claims or AIC designation permits claims adjusters to further enrich their credibility while demonstrating specialized industry knowledge. Wrapping up our claims handling fundamentals topic of this discussion, let's again ponder a claims trainer pro tip relevant to the instructional design of this workshop thus far. Claims trainers must ensure the use of more than one teaching method while delivering instruction, as not to limit the learning outcomes for adult learners. Their lessons should be thought-provoking, pertinent, and engaging as learners work with progressively complex concepts. Claims training relies heavily upon experiential learning theory modalities by immersing learners in hands-on learning experiences which facilitate subject matter acquisition through practice, trial and error, and collaboration with other learners. Utilizing case studies and role-playing activities in claims training assists learners in adapting to the complex and real-world situations they will undoubtedly encounter in their roles as claims adjusters. Adult learners must be motivated and engaged in order to learn. It is this engagement or motivation factor that affords learning concept transfer. For this transfer to occur, it is best that the workplace responsibilities or realities be intrinsic to the learning activities, modalities, and course content. Hands-on experiences and practical relevance or application to workplace scenarios enhance understanding and retention for adult learners, thereby supporting situated learning theory. Using a mix of modalities and training content significantly improves learning outcomes for adult learners, triggering higher order thinking and deeper understanding of concepts, while supporting a focus on universal design for learning principles which benefit diverse learners. Role-playing situations increase learner engagement, and interactive exercises help learners apply concepts in a real way within simulated environments, allowing problem-solving skills improvement. With continuous feedback from fellow learners and subject matter experts during exercises, learners are then able to solidify concept learning acquisition. Like most organizations, insurance companies are met with the challenge of adapting to quickly and constantly evolving technological advancements available in the workplace. They must first determine what resources they have to adapt to these and then how to employ them within the workflow of their claims adjusters. The task at hand then becomes training claims adjusters to use the given technology. By utilizing some newer teaching models like community-based learning, claims trainers can impart usage skills in a more informal, learner-centered, self-directed, and hands-on manner within which we understand that adult learners tend to thrive. Gamification involves the use of game-based elements with real-world concepts to help motivate and engage learners and increase their learning outcomes. As with all technology integration, claims trainers must ensure that the gamification of lessons aligns with the intended learning goals and that it is not employed simply to have done so. It is equally important that the rules of the game are clear and simple. Gamification also allows adult learners instant feedback utilizing badges or points, for instance, and fosters opportunity for collaborative learning should learners be broken into teams and compete for the win, if you will. As learners acquire concepts, the difficulty of the gamified learning content could then be amplified, perhaps to increase the speed with which claims adjusters are able to tackle job duties with accuracy and efficiency. Additionally, gamification benefits diverse learners as well, in that lessons are able to be easily adapted. Although initially challenging with all of the adaptation requirements, the future of adult learning and training really appears bright. With a focus on technologically advanced interactive learning modalities, the future of adult learning and training will likely center around simulations, role-playing, case studies, and online learning, allowing creative opportunities for claims trainers in developing engaging learning experience for claims adjusters. These, of course, being realms within which we've already learned that adult learners tend to thrive and have better learning outcomes in anyways. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I trust that you have gained some insight into the realm of insurance, claims handling, and claims training as a result. Additionally, I wish you great success and joy as you endeavor to train up your new claims adjusters or help your senior claims adjusters enhance and hone their skills. Happy teaching!